Hey, what's up? I'm back with another one of my wrestling overviews. You'll have to excuse my voice. I'm still in the process of recovering from a cold. But anyways, let's get to it. This is the overview for WWE Raw, Monday Night Raw for June 23rd, 2008. So first off, this was a special 3-hour show because this was the 2008 tri-branded draft between Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and ECW. So let's get to it. So first off, the first match of the night was between Triple H and Mark Henry, and excuse me, and so they were fighting Raw and SmackDown for the first draft pick, and so excuse me. So Triple H basically won this, which we all, if you saw it, was pretty much expected, because Vince McMahon obviously loves Raw the best. That's his baby, so he's going to give Raw most of the picks. So Triple H wins, and Raw gets the first draft pick, and so right off the bat, Raw gets Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio gets drafted to Raw, so now we have him, and, you know, I guess it was somewhat expected because SmackDown, I think it was Brandy was on, they weren't really using him. He really kind of faded into non-existence after the feud between him and Edge ended, which was quite a while ago. So they really hadn't been doing anything with him. So I think that they drafted him to Raw. I think that was a good thing because, you know, maybe hopefully they'll start pushing him again because he's a really good acrobatic athlete, and because Raw lost another one of their acrobatic athletes, which I'll mention in a little bit. It's good that they have another one. So after that match, basically there was a backstage segment between with Triple H and John Cena, just basically building their whole kind of feud going into Night of Champions. So you know, basically all it was Triple H. They quoted, you know, what each other had said, and said, you know, you're not the best until you beat me, and all that stuff. So just hyping up what their match will be at Night of Champions. And then we get the second match, which was a tag team match, Finlay and Hornswoggle versus Santino Marella and Carlito. So again, SmackDown and Raw. It was pretty obvious this time who was going to win because you have a clear-cut face, Finlay and Hornswoggle, clear-cut heels, Santino Marella and Carlito. So Finlay and Hornswoggle end up winning. I forget how, but they ended up winning. So SmackDown gets the second draft pick. And so, like I said, Raw lost an acrobatic wrestler, and that was Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy gets drafted to SmackDown, which I wasn't surprised. Excuse me. I could have expected that Jeff Hardy was going to get drafted because, you know, he just got back from, you know, being out for 60 days for his for failing the drug awareness program. And, you know, they were hinting on maybe pushing him when they had him in the #1 contenders match with John Cena. But really, this is a good move because Jeff Hardy really doesn't deserve, at this point, I mean, personally, I don't mind him as a wrestler. I'm not his biggest fan, but I think he is a good wrestler. But, you know, they need to send him a message that you can't do this and come out and be pushed. And, you know, people have said that SmackDown is a little bit lower on the ladder than Raw. I mean, that's, you know, that's also a personal view. I think it is because, of course, Vince McMahon himself pushes wrestlers more on Raw than, or he appears more on Raw than SmackDown. But then again, that's just my personal view. But so they send Jeff Hardy to SmackDown, which is probably good too. He could get a lot more work there. Hopefully get pushed again once, you know, all that stuff goes. So that's the second draft pick. And then Randy Orton, Vince McMahon is doing another one of his $1 million giveaways, which is really, I think, a stupid thing to begin with. Mostly because I didn't win anything, of course, but also it's just a stupid time filler when we could be having another good match or something. So Randy Orton is a special guest. He appears now, you know, a few weeks after his injury, or a month, I'm not sure. But he's supposed to help Mr. McMahon with the giveaway, but instead he addresses the crowd saying, you know, this is Triple H's fault, and it doesn't matter which is the champion, John Cena or Triple H, because I'm going to come back and beat whoever it is. So basically, you know, just telling people what he's going to do when he gets back. And I mean, it's good that they're keeping Triple H, Randy Orton heel, because he's the one last good heel I think that Raw has. I mean, JBL really has faded into non-existence too, and yeah, pretty much once Edge got drafted to SmackDown, they lost a really good big heel. So Randy Orton came out and basically said his stuff. He went back. He didn't help Mr. McMahon with the giveaway. And then we go to our third match, which is Hardcore Holly and Cody Rhodes versus Chavo Guerrero and Bam Neely. So again, we have a Raw versus a SmackDown. And of course, Raw wins. So we have Hardcore Holly and Cody Rhodes wins. And I think Ted DiBiase Jr. was at ringside just talking with JR and King about his match with them. But so Hardcore Holly and Cody Rhodes win, which gives Raw another draft pick. And so we get CM Punk drafted to Raw, which I wasn't really expecting. I thought he might be drafted. It would make sense because they were doing shit with him on ECW, because after Money in the Bank, really, I guess, until he cashes in, he really has no other reason to be on to be on there. So I thought they might draft him to SmackDown, though. But I guess, going to Raw, no problem with that. It's the flagship show, so well, I don't know what feuds he's actually. Maybe he'll get in something with Rey Mysterio. That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe he will, obviously, cash in now that Money in the Bank, which whatever title is on Raw, which kind of goes into what I'm going to be saying a little bit. But so CM Punk gets drafted to Raw. Then after that, we have Chris Jericho. He comes out and delivers another speech. I think it's just more trying to establish himself as a heel, which he definitely is now. There's no denying it. Although, I mean, I still like him as a heel. There's no, he's not. I think he still has people cheering for him, but not as much as before. So he's not a bad heel. But basically, he talks about how, Michaels and all that stuff between him, and then, what's his name? The guy who came out, I know I'm gonna. No, not Trevor. Lance Cade. That's what it is. Lance Cade appears on the big screen and pretty much says that I guess he and Chris Jericho are aligning themselves together, and then so Chris Jericho goes on more with his speech, but then out of nowhere. Well, I shouldn't say out of nowhere. We all expected it at some point. Shawn Michaels comes out and starts attacking Chris Jericho. So for a little bit, he's attacking him, and you think, oh, this is cool. Shawn Michaels will give him what he deserves. But then Chris Jericho pulls a fast one and throws Michaels' head, his injured eye. He comes out with I think it's on his right eye or left something. He comes out with some bandages on his eye. So we get that, and so kind of like he injured that. So Chris Jericho slams his side of his head, where his injured eye is supposed to be, into an announce table, and so Shawn Michaels is writhing in pain, and Chris Jericho kind of, gives the good heel look, or no, that's not right, that's not even right, sorry, I can't do a good expression, but he gives, the Randy Orton kind of glare, except he has a cocky kind of smile, or something like that. So he goes back, and so Michaels is hurt again, I guess, shame. I actually do like Shawn Michaels, but, I just think this whole feud is kind of worn a little thin. I want them to go on to something else. Maybe Shawn Michaels will team up or something. But anyways, to face Chris Jericho and Lance Cade. So we go to the fourth match, and it's John Morrison and The Miz versus the Hardy Boys. And so I say the Hardy Boys because, as of now, in the night, Jeff Hardy goes to SmackDown, where his brother Matt Hardy is. So we have what looks like a reunion between the Hardy Boys. So they take on Miz and Morrison, but to everyone's surprise, Miz and Morrison win. I think it was by I want to say it's by a cheap shot, and I think it is. I don't really remember, but I think it's by a cheap shot. So Miz and Morrison are, of course, from ECW, and they get the 4th draft pick, which coincidentally is Matt Hardy to ECW. So as quick as their reunion was, it's over. Began and was over. So Matt Hardy's at ECW now, and so Jeff and Matt are on different shows, and so Matt Hardy brings the ECW, not the ECW, I'm sorry, he brings the United States Championship over to ECW, so if he retains against Chavo, that'll become ECW exclusive.